Welcome to the Art Lady's home. This weekend I'm whipping up a quick chili. We got a busy art show weekend here, so I'm doing it very quickly and I'm using some canned beans, but I wanted to show you step by step how I did this, and I'm going to pack it with a lot of vegetables. I'm actually going to the market right now picking up some jalapenos that I was out of, and I'm going to get up some more green peppers as well, but I'll show you everything chopped up as I put it into my pot. But I wanted to show you the overall of what I have here going on. I am going to take some of these chili mixes and I'm going to doctor them up myself. These are store-bought chili mixes. One's in a mild and one's in a hot. My family likes things a little bit spicy, so I'm using some hot stuff. And of course you can season it to the way you like it. But I am going to throw in lots of carrots and celery, some onions, that whole bulb of garlic that I have left there, and I'm going to put in a couple more green peppers along with that giant red pepper, and then I'm going to throw in diced tomatoes and a variety of beans. And if you have pinto beans on hand, that's great too. I just didn't happen to have the pinto, so I'm throwing in 3 cans of my kidney beans. But any beans really works great with this chili, and I love mixing and matching my color beans, just so that you have a variety of colors and vegetable, minerals rather, from this, which is healthier. My philosophy is it's healthier. The more colorful, the healthier it is, because you're going to have different trace elements in those as well. Then I'm going to throw in some canned and diced tomatoes here. If you have some fresh tomatoes, throw them in. I may clean out my fridge and just throw in all my stuff because it's at the end of the week, so that helps too. But I'll show you it step by step as I do that. And then here's some spices that I'll doctor up those store-bought packages with, adding more cayenne pepper to it, and cumin, and some salts. I have some iodized salt here too, which is good for vegans because we lack in iodine, and some black peppers. So I'm going to go ahead and get everything chopped up, and I'll show you as I make this step by step. So far in the pot I have a half a package of celery sliced up pretty thin. I used a mandolin slicer right here to slice it up, and then I'm also going to throw in that pot just to give it some juice to cook, 4 Italian tomatoes, and these are pretty ripe tomatoes. And I have them pretty chunky here to cut up. I just rough cut them up. And I'm going to saute those while I'm chopping my carrots. And I'm going to use the carrots, I'm going to slice up my carrots with the mandolin slicer as well, just to speed up this process. I really love this little slicer here. I'm going to do a total of 6 pretty thin carrots. You can look here in the sink here how I have them. They are pretty thin and pretty long, but pretty thin. So I'm going to use a total of 6 of those. I'm going to slice them up nicely. I did pick up some jalapenos, so I'm going to put in 4 of those from the farmer's market. And of course, I forgot my regular peppers. Can't believe that. So I'm going to throw in, just to get some more green vegetable in, a zucchini. So I'll chop up that zucchini as well. But if you have more green peppers on hand, throw them in if you like them in your chili. So I'm going to chop up all this stuff here on the counter with the mandolin slicer, pop it in the pan, and saute it along with my celery. But I wanted to start the celery because that's a little bit of a tougher vegetable. And I want to get my carrots going first with the celery because carrots take a little bit longer to cook as well. And then I'll chop up my onions and throw in my garlic, and I'll show you what it looks like when I'm at that stage. The ingredients to the pot have been simmering. I've chopped up everything, the carrots, the onions, the jalapenos, the peppers, the squash. I used my mandolin, and so that took about 15 minutes. And I put the cover on while I was chopping up my garlic. And the mandolin really helped speed up all those vegetables. But as I was chopping the vegetables, I kept on putting my cover on so that this would simmer and cook quicker. And my carrots are getting pretty tender right now. So I'm going to put the cover back on and cook it for another 5 to 7 minutes, and then I will start putting it in my bean mixture. I'm going to throw in at this point, my garlic ended up being 1/3 of a cup of garlic. So I'm going to make a little well right here in the middle. That way I ensure that this is cooked pretty good. And I'm going to cover it with the vegetables. And then I'm going to put my cover back on and steam it. Oops. And then in about 5-6 minutes, while this is cooking, I'm going to throw in all my beans into a larger pot. This will be the final pot that I'll end up simmering everything for about 1.5 hours, 2 hours before it's done. So I'm going to start opening up my cans, and I'm going to start putting in my seasonings into my big pot while this is simmering. I want all of the vegetables to be tender so that when they come into this pot, they're not that crunchy. While the vegetable mixture is cooking, I am starting my bean base, and I put in my cans of stewed tomatoes. One was actually a fire roasted stewed tomatoes. That gives it a nice flavor there. You can see some brown pieces throughout, a little brown from the fire roast. So that'll give it a little zip as well. And I like the way these are nice and chunky, these diced tomatoes. And I put in, so far I've put in 1 can of kidney beans. I drained the kidney bean mixture, and now I'm going to, that looks a little mushy, that one. Now I'm going to dump in 2 more cans of kidney beans right now. So I'm going to add my kidney beans. Just going to check. I found one that was a little mushy. Okay, they look all right. This one's a little mushy on top too. I'm a little germophobic. All right, there we go. I'm going to stick in that. So far I've had 3 cans now of kidney beans in this mixture. And like I said, I've drained all the juices of these beans. And I'm going to put some northern beans in here to give it a nice different color here. So it's going to be a pretty mixture. A little pop of the white. And now I'm going to add black beans to it. And I want to put 2 packages of black beans in, because these are really, really good for you. 2 cans rather. I'm using 15, these are 15-ounce cans. That's why I bumped up 1 more can of black beans, because it seems like some of my cans are not a full 16-ounce. So I want to make sure I have enough beans in my chili, because this is a vegetarian chili, and this will give us our protein instead of having our meat. And this will be a nice giant pot of chili we're going to make. See, I like the mixture of the black beans. That ratio gives it some nice color. I like the, this is going to be a nice big pot of chili here. That's why I transferred it to this large pot here for cooking and simmering. Because I want to have leftovers. This is going to be, not only is it going to be just chili with we'll serve it tonight with chili with some oyster crackers. I have a nice big bowl of it. But also over the week, I'm going to be using this in my recipes for dinner. And my son will also use it for lunch as well. But we're going to use it in burritos, and we'll make some tacos with it. And then we'll put some of this leftover toward the end of the week. We'll put it on top of our pizza and have a vegetarian pizza with it as well. So I like cooking like this on the weekends, giant pots of things. And then I can transfer this into, make different meals out of this throughout the week. And this will be good for, say, 3 or 4 days afterwards. So I'd say up to 5 days this would be good for after I use it, after we cook it all. So I'm gonna, right now this is simmering pretty nicely, my vegetables, so I can start adding my vegetables now to it, so that by the time I opened up all those cans, this is tender enough, because when I'm simmering this for another hour and a half or so, the vegetables are going to continue to cook as well. This is starting to reach temperature now. But my vegetables, the carrots, everything is pretty tender now. So I'm going to start adding my vegetables. Before I do that, though, I am going to open up my packages of chili sauce mix right now. And I'm going to dump that in. And this one's the hot sauce one first. Like I said, we do like it a little spicy. And then I have all of my other seasonings in case we need to adjust the spiciness to this. This is going to make a pretty mild because we have so many beans going on and so much vegetables put in here. These 2 packages here, it's going to still, even though I have a hot one, it's still going to be a pretty mild chili. I did put those 4 jalapenos in, so we're going to taste it first once it simmers a little bit. We're going to taste it in about a half hour after I get all the mixtures put together and we start simmering it all. And then I'm going to add spices at that point. And when I'm adding my spices, I will let you know how I do my spices to doctor up this. But this packaging, start using this as a base. These were only like 39 cents, by the way, at Aldi's. So I picked them up pretty cheap. And it's a good base. And then you can go ahead and add your own spices to it. But that's looking good right there. And now I'm going to start transferring my vegetables in to cook that with it. And my vegetables will probably bring it up close to the top here. So we have a nice vegetable base chili. I just finished adding all the vegetables, and I added the juice as well that was at the bottom of the pan because I want to add all that flavor to it. When I stirred it in to the pan, I was a little thick, so I added about a cup of water. I could feel that this was starting to stick at the bottom of my pan, so I added another cup of water to this. But it makes a nice little sauce here. I do want to add one more can. You can see some of the tomatoes throughout, but I like my chili with a little bit more tomato, so I'm adding another can. And this is actually basil, garlic, oregano diced tomatoes. Just any tomatoes you have on hand. So that's a total of 3 cans of diced tomatoes in this. And that makes this is making a nice sauce now. And then I'm going to add, if you have a can of tomato paste, add that, or this, I just have a small can of tomato sauce. I didn't have the paste on hand, so I'm going to add that to this as well to finish off my chili. And then I'm going to let it simmer on 1, and you can see it's making this really nice sauce, and it's loaded with vegetables. This is going to be nice, a nice healthy meal for the week. And so I'm going to cover this and let this simmer about an hour, hour and a half till the flavors come through. It's really ready right now, but I want to have the flavors all mingled together. So you could eat it now if you'd like, or just continue simmering it a little bit. But I'm going to let mine simmer. And so there it is. I'll let you know how it is when I am done. But I did test it now. And the flavors, I'm not adding much of anything else to this. If anything, I'll just sprinkle in some oregano right now and some black pepper and a little bit of salt. But as far as the kick goes, I think I'm good on my kick. It's spicy enough for us with just those 2 seasoning packages. But like I said, many people have different flavors or different tastes in the chili, more spicy, less spicy. But those those jalapenos that I added to this are giving it enough kick right now. So I'm happy with it. And here is the final chili. Came out delicious. I simmered it for about an hour and a half on the lowest setting possible on my stove. And then what I did was I turned off the heat, and we ate dinner about a half hour later. So it just sat there with the cover on the stove. I'm serving it tonight with some oyster crackers and a little bit of guacamole and some Go Veggie dairy-free cheese and some fresh cut up onions. And I hope you enjoy this vegetarian all vegetable chili. And let me know in the comments how you like it and if you've added something different, because everybody cooks differently and adds, fun things to it. So let me know in the comments if you've added some fun spices or what your favorite topping is on your chili.